Chapter 2. The Hidden Cost of Male-Only Provision. Real-life interview. Late Mr. Samuel told by his widow, Lillian, age 38, Nigeria. My husband died at 36, heart failure. No previous signs, no warning she collapsed while trying to secure a second loan to pay for our children's school fees and my mother's hospital bill. I never knew how deep in debt he was. I didn't know he was battling depression. He never told me how tired he was. Why? Because I never asked. I believed it was his job to carry everything, while I stayed at home, looking good as a wife. I now live with that guilt. If I had shared the burden with him, maybe he'd still be alive. 2.1. The Myth of Male Invincibility. The myth of male invincibility, when being a man becomes a silent death sentence. Across many African cultures, manhood is measured not by wisdom, balance, or vulnerability, but by suffering. From a young age, boys are taught that real men don't cry, don't complain, and most dangerously, carry it all. The result? A generation of husbands, fathers, and brothers silently drowning under the weight of unrealistic expectations while society claps for their strength. But here's the harsh truth. Even the strongest back will break when the load is unjust. The cultural blueprint, that's killing men. Many African men are not allowed to be human, they are only allowed to be heroes. They are expected to provide endlessly, expected to fix every family crisis, and expected to do it all without emotional expression or rest. Statements like, "A man must never show weakness. A real man provides, no matter what. If he's not sweating for the family, he's useless," might sound noble, but they are killing our men silently. I lost my elder brother to a heart attack at 38. He had 4 children, an unemployed wife, 2 jobless siblings, and our aging parents to care for. Nobody ever asked how he was doing. He was the strong one, now he's gone. Ngwu Amaka. When the pressure becomes a death sentence. Men are not made of steel. Beneath the cultural armor are fragile humans with hearts, bodies, and breaking points. The consequences of this myth are glaring across the continent. Stress-related illnesses like hypertension, stroke, and heart failure are striking men in their 30s and 40s. Mental health crises go undiagnosed because men are ashamed to seek therapy or speak openly about emotional exhaustion. Substance abuse, gambling, and infidelity are often misguided attempts to cope with the pressure of always having to be strong. And at the root of many of these issues is an unequal system, where the man carries 100% of the responsibility and the woman contributes little or none due to cultural conditioning. The high cost of carrying it all alone. Let's be honest, many men are not just tired, they are terrified. They fear losing their jobs, disappointing their families, or being labeled failures. They have no room to pause, no space to breathe. And when death or bankruptcy comes, the burden they carried alone now becomes the widow's nightmare. We burden our men to death, and when they die, we blame fate. Ngwu. It is unjust to raise boys with no emotional literacy and raise girls with no economic literacy and then expect a functional family system. Something must give. Dependency is a form of oppression even in love. Dear women, depending entirely on your husband may seem like love and loyalty, but if you're not building alongside him, you are unknowingly shortening his life. Dependency is a silent oppressor in marriage. When one partner carries all the financial, emotional, and physical weight, love turns into labor. And eventually, that labor turns into resentment, illness, or death. Partnership doesn't mean competition, it means sharing the weight so no one collapses under it. The strongest marriages are not built on romance alone, but on shared responsibility. Rita Madhu, relationship therapist. Rethinking what it means to be a real man. A real man is not the one who dies young from pressure. A real man is one who communicates his limits without shame, values his health and mental peace, partners with his wife to build a stable, balanced home. And a real woman is not threatened by his vulnerability. She welcomes it, holds space for it, and adds her strength to his so that no one has to die early to prove love. 2.2. The cost of carrying the world when the man becomes the only pillar. The image of a man carrying the world is often celebrated in songs, stories, and even wedding toasts. In many African homes, the father is hailed as the lion of the family, the provider-in-chief, the unshakable rock. But we seldom pause to ask at what cost. Behind the smiling family portraits and grand ceremonies lies a darker reality. One human being is silently collapsing under the weight of expectation, and no one is trained to notice until it's too late. What happens when he must carry it all? When a man is forced to be culture, religion, or egoto shoulder 100% of a family's survival and success, this is what often follows. He works longer hours, sacrificing sleep, family time, and even his health just to make ends meet. He suffers quietly through pressure because speaking up is seen as weakness. He takes risky financial decisions, like borrowing money secretly, joining shady investment schemes, or gambling anything to keep up appearances. He feels emotionally isolated from his wife and children because he is the problem solver, not a fellow human being with needs. He loses joy in his marriage, which begins to feel more like a duty than a partnership. He eventually loses interest in life itself, some through addiction, some through silence, and some, tragically, through early death. My husband died of a stroke at 42. I used to think he was just being moody and distant. I didn't realize he was dying slowly from the pressure of being everything for everyone. Mrs. Halima Dogo. The reality of burnout, breakdown, and early death. Burnout doesn't only happen in corporate jobs, it happens in unbalanced homes where one person is giving far more than they are receiving. It creeps in silently through. Fatigue that never goes away. Silent resentment that builds into anger. Physical symptoms like headaches, chest pain, or insomnia. Emotional numbness, anxiety, or unexplained sadness. When a man lives like this for years, his body and mind begin to shut down. Some men die from heart attacks. Others die emotionally disconnected, disinterested, or depressed. Some simply walk away and never return. And then the home they tried so hard to sustain falls apart anyway. Short-lived empires built on one pillar. A home built on only one pillar, no matter how strong that pillar is, will eventually collapse. No structure was ever designed to stand with just one beam, yet this is what we do to families. The man carries the rent, school fees, groceries, hospital bills, elderly parents, emergencies, car maintenance, all alone. The woman waits, praises, and prays but contributes little to the stability or future-proofing of the home. The children grow up thinking this is normal and repeat the cycle. This is not just unfair, it's dangerous. It's how widows are made. It's how orphans are created. It's how dreams are buried beside the men who once bore too much. A man is not a donkey. Even donkeys collapse. Elder M. Iweala. Redefining success in marriage. Success in marriage is not about who carries the most, but about how both carry together. Real strength is shared strength. A truly successful family is one where the man and woman both contribute in ways that reflect their capacities. There is transparency, not pressure-filled silence. There is room for rest, vulnerability, and even failure without judgment. The highest form of love is support. If you love your husband, help him carry the load. C. Ngwu. Quotes to reflect on. Marriage is not designed for one person to die of stress while the other dies of boredom. C. Ngwu. Provision is not a man's identity. It's a shared responsibility. Michelle Obama. Men are not banks. They are human. They bleed too. Dr. Stella Nwachukwu. 2.3. The solution. Partnership over pressure. a new blueprint for African homes. For too long, the African woman has been cast in the role of beneficiary rather than builder. But we are now in an era where this narrative must be rewritten not only for the sake of women, but for the survival of families and the emotional well-being of men. Partnership is not a Western idea. It is not feminism. It is not rebellion. It is wisdom. It is maturity. It is love in action. Partnership, the cure to marital pressure. In many modern marriages, the missing ingredient is not love, it is support. What most husbands truly crave is not worship, but partnership. They want a wife who understands the weight of responsibility, is willing to grow her own capacity, can step in when life throws a curveball. I don't need my wife to match my income. I just need to know I'm not alone. Kingsley Obasi, civil engineer. What true partnership looks like. When a couple functions as a team, they stop trying to impress each other and start trying to protect each other. The home becomes a mission field, not a war zone. And love becomes less about flowers and more about covering each other's blind spots. Here's what this looks like in action. Joint financial planning. Sit down monthly to discuss income, bills, and savings. It's not about who earns more. It's about how can we both contribute. Open conversations. Talk honestly about fears, stress, and exhaustion. Don't let silence become suffering. Shared sacrifices. If one is struggling, the other adjusts. If one is sick, the other rises. Defined roles with flexibility. Let each partner work according to their strengths, but be ready to switch roles in times of crisis. A wife is not a decoration in the house. She is a second engine. Elder Rebecca Dyke, retired teacher. You don't need to make millions, you just need to contribute. One of the biggest lies that stops women from supporting their husbands is this: if I can't make big money, then there's no point. This is false. Even a small side hustle selling food, tailoring, digital work, teaching, farming, phone repair, tutoring can cover the children's school fees, a bag of rice every month, the rent for a shop or kiosk, a portion of the medical bills. These small things become life-saving things when a man loses his job or falls sick. In fact, it's often not the big income, but the consistent help that keeps a family stable. My wife didn't earn more than 0 a month, but she never let me feel alone. She bought the gas, paid for our daughter's books, and sometimes just let me breathe. Chuka Iziani. When women rise, men live longer. We must reverse the damage done by a culture that tells women to relax and men to run themselves into an early grave. A balanced home doesn't make the woman too ambitious. It makes the man less likely to die young. When men feel supported, they seek help earlier. They make wiser decisions. They live with more joy and peace. They stay healthier and emotionally available. Support gives strength. Partnership saves lives. Small group or personal exercise. Are you a partner or a passenger? 1. Audit your home responsibilities. What do you contribute financially? What do you manage emotionally? Where are you absent or passive? 2. Plan a partnership meeting with your spouse. Discuss each other's burdens. Identify one new way each of you can help the other. Set a small joint financial goal, e.g., save 0 month together. 3. Journal prompt. What are the areas in your marriage or future marriage where you want to be more present, prepared, and participating? Fear, challenge. Identify one skill or business idea you've been postponing. Take the first step this week. Register, research, or restart. Affirmation. I am not waiting to be rescued. I am here to build. My presence is powerful, my hands are capable, and my voice will no longer be silent in the building of my home. 2.4 Personal Reflection Exercise. The Financial Reality Check. Step 1. Answer these in your journal. 1. Do I know exactly how much financial pressure my husband or partner is under right now? 2. Do I offer support or do I avoid money conversations altogether? 3. What are 3 practical ways I can lighten the financial load in my family this month? Step 2. Initiate a partnership talk with your spouse or future partner. Don't accuse, just ask. How can we do this together? Write down what you both can contribute and commit to doing your part. Closing words for Chapter 2. Every time a woman steps up to contribute, a man breathes deeper. Provision should never be a one-sided cross. If you truly love a man, don't just tell him, you show him by standing shoulder to shoulder in life's responsibilities.